Welcome to O-Talkin' with Dave. Here's Dave.
Hey, how we doing out there? I hope you're great. Top shelf, I know I am. I'm trying to get more focused, yet still show big picture with what I'm doing here. A lot of it is, everything is around personal productivity. And by personal productivity, I mean just getting better, getting more efficient, getting more productive, but in a good way, in a real human, realistic, practical way. For example, salespeople. Salespeople go out, they go to sales training, they get all trained up and they're ready. Okay? An athlete, they're honed, they're trained, they are at their peak performance. All right? A father or a mother, they're ready for that quality family time and they've got their mind right. Okay? Well, all of that is wonderful. You can be the most trained person at home, work, or play. But if you're letting things get in the way, stress, worry, distraction, boom, all that training goes out the window unless you can focus, unless you can do things that make you better. There are a million wrong ways, there are a million right ways, but the whole goal here is let's just get better. And so one thing that was asked was, look, you go to trainings, you go to seminars, you watch videos, you watch podcasts, all this YouTube stuff. Just give me the meat. Hit me with some, I'm asking what time it is, not how to build a clock. So just tell me, can you give us some quick hits? That's what we're doing today. Some quick hits. I'm going to hit a lot of stuff at a very, very high level. But what I want to do is I want to be broad yet specific. Broad in the category, but specific on little things you can do. Just little things. Things I do. Things I have done. Things that when I'm at my best, I continue to do. A lot of times I don't. Because this is a journey for me as it is for everybody. Let's just get better. Let's be consistent. I'd like to think when I am at my best, I'm pretty good. I know I fail constantly. So you never get your doctorate in personal productivity. It's a daily battle. So let's just talk a few things. Let's talk about time-saving tricks. I've written a few down, so I'm going to consult my notes, but some of these I've been doing for years. Some of them are common sense. And please send me yours. That's the value of this. When you can send me, hey, you know what? Here's what I do. That's fantastic. And I'm going to start having a give and take on the website. I'm going to start posting these. But one thing is, and we've got to block our time. Don't just make a list. Don't just do a to-do list. You're going to have a list of 10 things you got to do. No, you've got to assign it to a time or a time of day. Otherwise, at 3 o'clock, you're like, oh, I got to eat more things on my to-do list. Oh, let's just get to it. Well, then the quality goes away. So if you're going to, in the morning from 8 to 10, I'm going to try to get these 3 things done. From 10 to 12, I'll do these. No, you know what? I need to do that between 8 to 10 because that's on the way. So it takes a little planning, not preparation, planning. And so don't just have a to-do list because a to-do list are things you're going to do. Have a to-done list. Let's get these done and move on. Put it in your planner. One of the biggest things I have, and I heard a quote the other day that was BS. It said, anybody that plans every minute of every day is doomed to fail. No, that person's doomed to fail. They're not realistic. I plan every minute of every day, but I plan free time. I plan downtime. I plan time to do absolutely nothing. Stare into the abyss. I plan time to be completely spontaneous. Yeah, but you've got to put your time in a category, in a time frame. And I'm not talking about appointments necessarily. A to-do list between here and here. I'm going to drop by here. Yeah, just now I went and got a haircut. Notice this? Look at that. Look at that smooth fade. This is a 1.5, by the way. Anybody trying to emulate Dave? Bless your heart. #blessed. But have appointments and then do things in between them. Do things on the way, as you go type stuff. But don't leave it up to chance because it won't happen. A lot of things, another thing, when I'm doing tasks around the house, or my mind tends to wander. I get distracted. I don't have that much stress anymore. I don't worry about things anymore, but I get distracted. Oh, so easily. This Diet Mountain Dew is distracting me right now. Delicious. They're not a sponsor, but they could be. Anyway, I set a timer. If I'm doing something, all right, I'm just going to go sit out back for a little while. I'll set a timer for an hour. That way, I don't have to keep looking at I don't even wear a watch. I still do that. I don't look at my phone. I don't have to do I got a timer. It's going to tell me, use the tools. You don't have to use your brain to remember stuff, especially keep track of time. Use timers. That's fantastic. Another thing is batch things together. Small tasks. Emails, returning calls, all that batch things you can do together. Now, by together, I don't mean multitask. I have a rule. If I can answer an email with a yes or no, I do it right then. If I have to, it's going to take me some thought. I'll plan a time to go back and do emails. If I'm running an errand, I've got to go there. That's 10 minutes. I'll return that phone call on the way. But you batch things together so it's not standalone, and then it's planned. It's planned, and that's a good way to do it, and you'll find that you're getting stuff done as you go. A good rule, I've seen people, I've gone into people's offices before who need organization, and some of the horror stories I could tell. So I'll just sit back, and especially for salespeople when they want to be more proficient, I'll ride with them. I'll ride with your team. I'll do it. It's part of what I do. And I'll just observe what they do. I don't say anything. I just observe it. But I noticed a lot of people will touch something several times. When they're organizing their space, or before their space is organized, I put this over here. I'm forming a pile right here. Okay, now I'm looking at that. Okay. In the course of an hour, you've looked at that. You've held it 3 times. What are you doing? So if a task is it's going to take less than 2 minutes, schedule an hour. Knock out all these 2-minute tasks. It's done. The value of not having a stack of to-dos right here on your desk, having all this clutter in your mind. I'm gonna blank out an hour and return phone calls, answer quick emails, do all of these things that will take 2 minutes or less. That's a fantastic way to clean up. Best way? Nope. No. Can't. Sorry. Without an explanation. That's the thing. We feel obligated to give an explanation as to why we can't do something. Yeah. That takes a lot of time. Sometimes you might as well say yes in the time it took you to say no. There's no drama necessary. You'd be amazed at the people that would accept no. That is so valuable. Yeah. No. And you can say, no, I have something. No, that time doesn't work for me. No, I don't. I'd rather not. No. And you can add that if you want, but no, not going to make that one. Boom. Unwavering. And don't discuss why. If you have people that are pressuring you as to why, all right, well, hey, come on now. Boundaries. Put that boundary up. No, I said no. Boom. And if you don't say no a lot, they're going to put, but after a while, when they get used to that, okay. Who are some people in your life that tell you no? How do they turn you down? Okay, well, how does it make you feel? Well, not good at first, but then again, you realize, okay, no means no. Boom. So start doing that now, because if you wait, okay, I'll eventually get to that point. I probably won't. Just do it and see how it works out. The world will keep turning on its axis. The birds will continue to sing, and the flowers will bloom. No thanks. That's a nice way to say it. No thanks. Please. Also, you can automate reoccurring tasks. By that, I mean auto pay. Auto bill pay is fantastic. It's fantastic. Have a grocery list up. You know, okay, I'm gonna go get groceries Thursday. As you need something, just write it down, and as I go, boom. If it's not on a list, I'm not getting it. Though that can be routine, the list will make itself. One thing I've started doing, I'm seeing how it's working. I've tried to cut out social media, but I can't. I can't tell it no. So what I do is in the morning, I'll take a little time and I'll post, and then I'll leave it alone. At noon, I may check and see something, but I do my activity in the morning. That's part of a routine. It's not automated yet. I'm trying to discover a way, but I've got some lists that I post lists from time to time. I've got a bunch of them. I've got 2 weeks worth of lists right now, and every morning, boom, done. Now it's manual, but they're already made. And I set time aside to make the list. People say, where do you come up with these lists? Anyway, long story. So there's a lot of different ways. Tell me how you're automating some of your to-dos, some of your activities. The best way for me is bill pay. Automatic bill pay. I don't even have to do it. Sometimes I do automatic bill pay, and at first I had the reminders to remind me to pay, and I would pay it, and then I would auto pay it, and then I'd pay it twice. My HOA, I haven't done a podcast on HOAs because I'm trying to completely quit cussing and drinking and throwing things and breaking things. So it's coming. But my HOA, there for a while, I had 2 auto pays on it. I was double paying. I don't have to pay my HOA dues for 8 months now. Auto paid them so long. Anyway, you got to be better at it than I am. One thing, plan tomorrow today. Now remember, I said plan. You can prepare, but plan tomorrow today. What are we going to do? My wife and I have started. We try to put, here's what I'm doing tomorrow. Here's my day tomorrow. And by the end of the day, we have that. Last thing we do before we go to, okay, we put it. I know what she's doing tomorrow. She knows what I'm doing tomorrow, if I'm here. That way we don't, first of all, we don't have to interrupt each other and ask. It's right there. We're bad about forgetting something 5 minutes after we talk about it. Well, it's right there. Okay, so in the morning she's doing this. Okay, I'm doing that. Or you know what? While she's doing that, I'll do this. It can help plan our day. Tomorrow instead of today. Because the time, if you don't plan tomorrow today, you're going to have to set out a set amount of tomorrow to plan tomorrow. Because if you don't plan tomorrow, tomorrow will take care of you. All right, and preparation, we can talk more about that later. There's a thing I consider decision fatigue. A lot of this will be, okay, what am I going to have for breakfast? All right, I had breakfast. All right, I'm going to shave and shower. Should I do that before breakfast or after? I make coffee. I'll make the coffee. Then I'll go ahead and shave and shower. Then I'll eat breakfast. Okay, all right. And then I'll decide what to wear. You know what? I'm going to get up and decide what to wear. And see what I mean? Have some sort of routine. I do. And it's not because I'm smart or decided this. I'm a creature of habit. If I've got a routine, anything gets out of my routine, I may leave the house without pants on. That's how bad I am. If Steph moves something, I might as well, let's cancel the day. I am a creature of habit. A lot of that is great because I don't make decisions. I reach in for breakfast, it's the same 2 or 3 things. I'm not tired of them. When I get tired of them, where I reach in, I change what that is. Coffee's always first. I get that. Because without coffee, I should not be allowed to make any decisions. I've got witnesses on that. But limit the just mundane decisions. Oh, you go back to, where we're going to eat dinner, where you want to go eat. That kind of thing. That can send your mind into a frenzy. All right, but there are decisions that can be automatic. You don't have to make them, almost like the auto pay. Because after a while, having to decide something, I'm out. I'm sorry, I'm out. I can't decide anything more today. Well, you may have a big decision come up. That's why on vacation, I turn everything over to my wife. Only on vacation. We walk down a hall. She'll tell me, do we turn right or turn left? We go out. We just got back on vacation, and I go down. I went to the same. We sat in the same two loungers by a pool for 5 straight days. Went straight there. Just boom, sat down. They were available. I don't know. She picked them out. Yeah, we go back. We sit. We're good Baptists. We have this entire seating area overlooking the ocean. It probably sat 200-300 people. We sat in the same one or two tables every day. But I didn't make any decisions. And that is an example of I just turned it off. When you're at home, when you're in a routine, when you're traveling for business or whatever, when you've got kids, family vacation, whatever, don't linger over inconsequential decisions. It'll build up on you. Another thing my daughter and I have started doing, it's fantastic. I know you're going to think, David, what are you, Amish? Is voice to text. It's fantastic. Just hit that little. I've done voice to text for years and didn't mean to. I've sent some very questionable texts that I didn't realize I was doing. Anyway, it's fantastic. You just hit it and talk and then send. It's much more efficient. You don't have to be. It's safer. Plus, you get the voice. There's something about hearing the voice. So that's fantastic. My daughter's idea, but I'm finding it so efficient. And you know what? We're to the point to where, if it's worded differently or spelled a little differently, even if you're doing the dictation function on your phone, it's quicker. It's more effective. They know what you mean. Would you do it to the president of the company, or if you're trying to get a job, or no? But we're talking about everyday ways to save time so that you can focus on the more important things. Now, to that point, also with personal productivity, it's not so sterile to where, it's got to be tight. It's got to be efficient. It's got to be nailed down, because that creates angst. No, you're just saving time and being more efficient so you can use that time to do whatever you want. If it's focus on a conversation, if it's just screw around, I got more time to do nothing. I'm meeting so-and-so later at a bar to watch a ball game. You know what? I'm going to create an extra 45 minutes of time just to slack off. Whatever. But own that. All right? Time savings. All right, let's talk about money. Money, money, money. All right, some just quick ones here. Convenience costs you a lot of money. Little things like delivery fees. I'm not saying don't do these, but some of the smaller things, delivery fees, that easy type options. I can. The other night we were starving and we didn't want to go out to eat. But I said, you know what? Let's get something delivered. Well, by the time it gets here, we don't have great luck with that. It'll be cold or whatever. I said, you know what? Let me just call it in and I'll go pick it up. And it was at a restaurant. It wasn't at a Pizza Hut, Domino's, pick a pizza place, but a couple of pizzas at this place we love. I went down there, ordered them. They had it to me. I was back way before. No delivery fee. I even gave them an extra tip for whatever. But that was, it cost a lot less. It tasted better. It was less convenient for me. However, hey, I saved a few dollars and it was good to, the experience wasn't bad at all. But a lot of times we'll do that convenience thing. Don't get me started on Amazon. I use them constantly. If they don't deliver, they still come by and check on us to make sure we're okay. But there's certain things built in that have extra charges. My wife, she signed up for Amazon Prime. Well, I already have Amazon Prime. All right, well, she's got the extra cost of that out of convenience, so she doesn't have to tell me, well, is it more convenient? So you have to decide that thing. Just the last minute stuff or delivery fees, stuff like that. I say this, and I think we should do this, but track spending. Every now and then, take a week and really dig into what you're doing. You can look at your bank statement, your credit card statement, or whatever, and does that look right? Wait a minute, what is that? Honey, did you do this? Oh wait, I did it. Oh, I forgot. The reoccurring spend. Get the Rocket app or whatever you got to show all these subscriptions you forgot about. Track it. Track it for a week, every month or two. You're going to find things in there. Hey, we don't need to do this. And you just get aligned on it. It's going to save you money. And then tools that save time. There's all kinds of apps and software, things like that help you save time. And that is the same thing as money a lot of times. You can, there's so many financial tools. And by that, I don't mean investments and all this other stuff. But there's so many tools that you can get to alert you. Fraud detection. And I'm not talking about the ones with the bank. I mean, there's... LifeLock, a lot of other things that will save you time to where you're not paranoid about something. If something happens, they'll alert you. If something weird's going on, that will alert you. That will save you time for trying to find that needle in the haystack. Am I being taken advantage of? I seem to have less money than usually at this time of month. Well, you put some of those tools, let them watch. It's well worth the investment, and it saves you a ton of time. And one thing that my wife and I are started doing, we used to eat out all the time. I like it. It's easy. Let's go. We've stopped doing that, not only to save money, but what we find is I love to cook. And I realized I stopped cooking because we always go out and eat because it's easy. Well, I've started cooking more. And the time together and time with the dogs and the laughing. And it's fantastic. Also, it saves money. And that adds up. It really does. So, it's cheaper. Usually it's healthier. Gives you control. And I'm telling you, the food's just as good usually. Only bad thing is I don't get a tip. Nobody tips Dave. I don't know what the deal is, but I don't have to tip anybody else either. So just a few quick, easy things. Let's talk about what really gets in the way of doing these other things a lot of times. I talked earlier about, hey, being ready for the game. You're ready. You're ready. But stuff happens. Stress, worry, all these things. It's simple. This is simple. I've heard Jordan Peterson and other, military people talk about make your bed. You get up, make your bed. That's starting out all right, I'm in control. Also the declutter. Decluttering your physical space also helps clear your mind. Take time out to clear your mind. But also, if you go out and you clear your mind and you come into a pigsty, I've said many times talked about the clean desk policy I put in at work on a couple of places. They got so much more done. They had a timeline. Okay, now, and they looked at certain times. Okay, we got to get this off. We got to get off. They followed up. They got more sales. They did all this other stuff, and they had a clean desk. Part of the value of that is when they came in the next morning, they came into a clean space. So put things in your routine. Put things at the end of the day at your workspace, or what I'm pointing to mine right there. Okay, I'm going to plan 30 minutes to clean up. Maybe it's at the beginning of the day to declutter, to organize, do whatever you need to do. Once a month, just have a spring cleaning. If that thing's been laying on your desk for a month and you haven't used it, you're probably not going to use it. That folder, file it, do something. But that helps. And that helps you be more productive. If that's a constant reminder of something that went wrong or something you need to do it and get rid of it. It's going to help up here. I am a big proponent of a worry dump. Do it, whatever it takes. If you need to write it down, if you need to talk to somebody about it, if you need to get it out, plan it. Let's take some time and let's go and worry about it. Let's just worry the heck out of it for an hour. Set a timer and talk to somebody or write it down. One thing that I did with a group of people one time, and I thought that they reported to me, so I had the authority to do this. I promise you, if you let me talk to your group, I won't do this. But we got in there, and I noticed people looking at their laptops, and I said, okay, let's take a minute. Go to your inbox. Go to your inbox. Everybody there, and I walked around the group. There's 10 of them. Walked around there. Okay, hit select all, right? Okay, hit delete. And they were like, oh my goodness. We can't do that. We can't do it. All right. But some of these are for you. Some of these are your emails. Well, first of all, you should have already answered it. But since you haven't, nope, do it. And I walked around and make sure they did it. And I know some of them, they were thinking, okay, now go to your delete box. No. Go to your delete box. Check all. Select all and delete. Boom. I said, okay, have I got your attention? They're gone forever, right? If it's important enough, somebody will ask you for it again. If you get in trouble, blame it on me. All right, have a good day. We'll see you in the morning. They came back the next morning. How was it? How'd you sleep last night? Anybody want to share what they did last night? And some of them were at first, it was, And then after a while, you know what? After a while, it was kind of nice. I didn't have to go back and spend an hour checking or answering emails. I didn't have to do this. All the stuff I had put off that was in my inbox, I forgot about it. Everything was fine. They come back in. All right, let's go. Same way with worries. Now, I realize when you're dealing with personal things, it's not as simple as select all and delete. However, deal with it. What are you really worried about? I've given you a 5-step process. However, sometimes you just need to say it. If I get this off my chest, I'll feel better. All right. Have somebody, that circle of friends, that coworker, whatever, please. The thing is, when you do this, you'll find that the things you don't share, a lot of times, I don't really want to share that. Why not? Well, it's not that big a deal. Well, what do you mean? Well, it's probably drama. It's probably something held on from the past you need to let go anyway. That takes a lot more talk than just letting. But a lot of times it's just a dump. You got to dump it. There were 2 people who couldn't get along it's 2005, 2006. And we were building a team. I was like, and I pulled them in and I said, look, you 2 have got a lot of tension going on and the rest of the group can feel it. All right? I'm going to stay in here. I'm closing the door. I want you to go at each other. You can say anything you want, HR proof, but get this off of your chest. I'm here just to make sure one of you doesn't hurt each other. Go at it. And they started out slow, and so I poked them a little bit, and before long they're just going at it. And it came from things from years before at a different employer that they had been holding on to. Petty jealousy, petty, silly stuff. I would have been in there for an hour if we needed to. Inside of 10 minutes, they were like, yeah. And it was like, you're good at what you do. You're good at what you do. In this situation, I don't even want you on my team. They walked out in a better place. That was an example of just get it out. A dump. Maybe you need to go out back and scream. Be careful of the neighborhood. However, that dump is important. The multitasking, don't get me started. Multitasking makes you 40% less productive and it clutters your mind. You're not faster, you're more scattered. Do one thing at a time, do it well. Quit multitasking. That's where the stress and worry is coming from a lot of time when you can't identify it. It's because you're doing too many things at one time. Unless you're a mother at home with at least 2 toddlers under the age of 4, don't multitask. Stop it. I get pushed back on this all the time, but it's true. Stop it. I would say another one is have a shutdown routine. Have a shutdown routine, meaning, all right, I do this, I close the laptop. Maybe it's on your drive home from work. Maybe it's the transition from, if you're working from, transition from here to end there. Maybe it's a transition from when you finish playing golf till you come home to the family. Any transition, have a routine to complete this before you go to this. You know why? Because this needs to be completed to give it its proper place. Also, what's coming next, it doesn't deserve the residue from what came before it. I don't care what it is. It doesn't deserve that. If you're still excited about it, okay, maybe you share that. However, if you're not, don't bring that garbage into the next thing. Have a shutdown ritual, something that creates the line between one thing and another. And it's great. It's, a lot of those of you coming home from work or something, you do it on the way. Maybe it's you stop by someplace. And, there were places I would stop by and get, if I'm, a cup of coffee, or stop by and get you can stop by and get whatever you want. But that is that ritual from a boundary between this and this. And it can, set your timer. You don't want to stop by a bar and be there for 3.5 hours. And then the next thing, you got some splaining to do. So have that shutdown ritual. And then that's a real quick thing. And then another thing would be celebrate. You got to celebrate. I've got 4 parts to my making a good place better process. It's getting to a good place. Don't give away your power. Weeds and thriving. Thriving is you've won. You've won. Celebrate. That's what people have the most problem with. Isn't that crazy? We got a lot of bad losers out there. We got some bad winners. Every little win means you're making progress. Celebrate that. Notice it. It creates momentum. And momentum deserves to be acknowledged. So do that. That helps. And remember, all these are reducing worry and stress. My wife finished her 100th kickboxing class the other day. Oh, they celebrated her. I celebrated her. We went out and celebrated that night. Okay. And it's like, all right, now, let's get to 200. Yeah? 101, is that any more important than 100? No, but let's celebrate the 100. It's fantastic. So all of those things. It helps reduce stress. It's very important. So some more. Eliminating unnecessary notifications. If it didn't, I've turned all of my notifications off. Notifications are important if you need that guidance and that recollection. Letting me know someone has sent me an email? No. Letting me know someone posted on Instagram or TikTok? No. A text? I want to know that because it could be one of my kids or my wife. If my dog could text, boom, that too. Another thing, log out of stuff. Some people keep it's always open. I noticed mine the other day. Steph got notified that I had done something. No, I don't even have my phone. I hadn't logged out. It was just open. Log out of this stuff to show people I'm not available. A lot of people don't do that. Log out. It's okay. It doesn't mean you can't ever log back in. But it keeps away from just, being on call. A do not disturb zone. That's important. Whether it's, like my family knows when I'm in here with this, with this barrier up, I'm either recording on calls or in presentations or something like that. They know. Don't do it. Even the dogs know. My kids knew that when they lived at home. But also it could be when I'm sitting in a certain chair, or when I'm in a certain area, or from this time to this time. It's also important electronically for that. I don't answer my phone. I mean, if I'm not doing anything and you call me, I'll answer. However, my message is clear. Look, leave me a text or a voicemail if you need me to call you back. 90% of my stuff, there's no voicemail. There's no text. So I only have to deal with 10%. And have to deal, that sounds degrading. But no, my time is very important. It's a do not disturb tactic. And I start, this is a small thing, but close your tabs. Instead of leaving your computer and coming and waking it back up, I mean, if you're going to go for a break or something like that, but close your tabs. Don't leave a ton of tabs open. That means a ton of work. That means a ton of access, a possible to-do list. That's unnecessary input. It's mental clutter. Get it done. That's just like the top of your desk being covered with stuff. Also, reduce good distractions too. We've talked about saying no, but pause before saying yes, even to something fantastic. Every yes is a no to your focus. Okay? So even exciting stuff. Okay, let me hold on. My son yesterday, he hit me up with, hey, there's a festival in Chicago in September, and my buddy, his band is playing. We can get in for free. I got miles. We can fly for free. I got points. We can probably stay for free. Oh, this is fantastic. Yeah, man. Yeah, just let me know when it is. Well, okay. A little while later, he said, oh, I've noticed this, and this. Oh, sweet. Fantastic. 20 minutes later, he hits, oh, I can't go. That's when I'm playing a festival in Arizona. And I'm like, I got all hyped. I got all excited. I wasted 30 minutes thinking about this and checking my points and thinking, ooh, Chicago, what part of Chicago? I said yes, and I lost 30 minutes, but we got hyped. It's still good. But also, it didn't happen. It's not going to happen. There's some other things that when we say yes, we start that momentum and create mental clutter. But what it does, it's also distracting. Good distraction is just as harmful to focus as stress and worry. It really is. It doesn't feel as bad. However, it is. Also, ideas. Find some way to capture ideas. It can be dictation. It can be notes. I know songwriters and comics, they have their book. It's constant. Have some way to capture that. When I see, and one way that I do it, I have just about everybody in my life, I have a file for, and I send myself an email and drag it to that file. And before I'm going to talk to them or whatever, I look and see, what is that? Okay, all right. But sometimes it's just as minor as, my daughter does this. I'm going to see her Monday, and she said, remember, and it's in our messages, just mention this. And it's 2 words. I forgot what it is, but it's in that text chain. And she said, I got a great story. You say this, it's going to remind me. Have triggers, have notes to remind you of a later list. We're going to do this later. I don't have to think about it now. Also, it's good to batch learning time. And by that I mean, all right, for a section of time, I'm gonna go through YouTube. I'm getting the YouTube sector because I just go crazy. I go down a wormhole with that big time. Or maybe it's podcasts. Or I'm gonna start a book. And I got 2 books sitting over there right now. I'm looking at. I haven't set a start date for them. When I start a book, it's hard to put it down. If I put it down, it sucks. So, but start that because I'll just zip right through it. But have a start time and set an hour. You know what? If you get 15 minutes into that hour and it hasn't got you, okay, you just created a 45-minute pocket of time. What am I going to do with that? But create batches of time for learning or exploration, or I like to call it curiosity. I'm curious about this stuff. Don't just sneak it in during other times because that time is focus time. Give it its space. That's why I say I plan time to goof off. I plan time after goof off time to get over the goofing off. So when you talk about being so tightly scheduled, you can't get anything done, or you're not going to succeed, please, give me a break. Limit people distractions. Communication hours. I try to manage people's expectations to where I'm going to deal with, I got 3 blocks in every day. Work, vacation, whatever. Block 1 is loosely 8 to 12. Block 2 is 1 to 5. Block 3 is 6 to 10. All right? You can count on me if you deal with me a lot. I'm probably not gonna, if I haven't answered your email, I'll do it before block 1, in between 1 and 2, and in between 3 and 4. I'm sorry. Before 1, in between 1 and 2, and in between 2 and 3. After 3, I don't need to be answering emails or anything like that. Returning voicemails, phone calls, all of that. That's when you can count on it. I may squeeze it in as one of the things I said on my way to do something else. However, letting people know how to communicate with you, they'll learn. They'll do it. If you want me, don't call me. Text me. Text me and say, give me a call. That's the quickest way to get my attention. People know that. I have told people, with new projects, I had somebody come up to me and say, yeah, you're getting a reputation of not answering your phone. I said, well, you need to listen how to communicate to me, because I told you if you need me, don't call me. Did you leave a voicemail? Did you text me? Okay. Well, you didn't even listen to my voicemail, did you? You teach people how to communicate with you. There's some things out there. When I get on the plane, I immediately, to get rid of people, and that sounds mean, but it's not. I love my kids, but your kids get on my nerves. And I don't want to talk on a plane. So I put in my AirPods. Most people get the hint. There for a while, people do the big noise canceling headphones. Okay, I get the hint. I'm never going to tap somebody on the shoulder. And, some people will do that and they need some training. However, there are things you can do to protect you, but also to protect other people. And then, one way to do this is the famous parking lot. Something comes up in a meeting that's so off topic. Okay, let's put it in a parking lot. Okay. And you even do that to show it's a way. By the end of most of my presentations, I got a parking lot full. We need a parking deck. And a lot of times we'll schedule time at the end to go back to the parking lot. It's very important. There's also good ways. A lot of people can take hints, but you've got visual busy signals that shows I'm focused. You're looking at something, and if somebody comes up to you, like that, it's not, don't do that because they're going to wait. But it's like, or you point to this, or I'm focused here. You can get to the point to where you let people know, and you can have signs up, you can do whatever. I just focus and ignore a lot of times. People that know me already know. They know if I'm in the zone or something like that. But, there's a lot of things. We used to put, in call centers, we would put lights on the side of people's cubicles. And if they were on the phone, it was on. If they were off of the phone, it was off. Well, I noticed a lot of people just take the phone off the hook to keep people from bothering them. That's not good. So that's different ways. And then have an exit, just a go-to exit. Apply a polite way to say, can I call you back, or can we talk about this in 15 minutes? So many times, and anybody that's dealt with me knows this. If they're calling me and I'm not just brushing them off, it's call you back in 30, call you back at lunch, call you back, whatever. That means I know you're trying to get in touch with me. Here's when you expect me to get back. I appreciate it when people do that. As a matter of fact, I think I got that from somebody else. But have that standard polite way to say, it's not no, it's just not now. I know we need to talk. And then sometimes you got to, but the more you do it, the more you'll get used to it. And you have your ways of doing this. Another some of the quick hits, it's a way to discipline your own brain. And this is the thing. Other people will learn. You've got to teach yourself. And that's, what are you avoiding? What are you procrastinating about? Anything you're procrastinating on, that creates clutter. So make that list and stop procrastinating. It doesn't mean do it right now. Set a time. Whatever you're avoiding, don't avoid it. Put it somewhere. You know what? Next Monday. Well, David, that's procrastinating. No, that's scheduling. That's planning. Now, if you don't do it next Monday, that's procrastinating. But if you know you're going to do it next Monday, okay, it's not clutter anymore. If it comes back up, oh yeah, next Monday. I got that. And avoid the just one thing trap. Little tasks. Just one little thing that can I'm just going to do that. I'm going to get back to this, but let me just do this one thing. Well, that one thing, on the way to do it, 2 or 3 other things are going to come up. Focus on what you're doing. You haven't done it yet. It can wait till you finish. And it's probably not that important anyway. Don't get involved in that. Just a minute? No one takes just a minute when they ask for just a minute. Use pen and paper more. I got away from it. I'm going back to it. Because if you write it down, there's something about that. You can type it, but you've got 40 tabs open because you haven't done what I said and close your tabs. You got all these lists of things and these digital to-do lists and all this other stuff. Write it down. Post-it notes are a great invention. Don't have 100 of them. Have one and get to it. But when you write it down, it's something a little more personal to it. Every day, have one main goal. Not 5. Come on. Have at least one. I'll go as far to say have one for the morning and one for the afternoon. And don't think about the afternoon until you get the morning one done. It simplifies everything. You can have all this other stuff too. Main, primary goals. It could be homework or play. Have that goal. Because once you have the goal, you got to plan for it, you got to prepare for it, then you got to execute. 2 a day. If you get 1 a day, that's good. But it reduces that distraction because that's my main goal. This is a secondary goal and I got distracted. This is my main goal. I got to get to this one. And then at the end of the day, much like the shutdown strategy or shutdown routine, clean it out. Clean it out. Get tomorrow's noise out of your head. Get today's noise out of your head before it hijacks your evening, your block 3, your dinner with the family, your kids' ball game, and all this stuff that is important. You're going to go play cards with the guys. It's bowling night. Tonight's your night just to relax. You're going to watch 3 episodes of Sopranos. All right? You know why you need to do that before the evening? Because if you don't deal with it, the evening happens. If you don't ruin your evening, it's still here. You're not going to sleep well. It's going to be here. You're going to start doing math. Okay, in 8 hours, I got to get up and get at this. And the first thing I'm going to do is this, and then I'm going to do that. When I have my coffee, I got to decide what I'm going to eat for breakfast and what I'm going to wear. So, at the end of the day, have a brain dump. Here's the thing. Not all distractions are loud or shiny or in your face. Being from the South and being a man, I like shiny, glittery things. No, those aren't the ones that rob you. It's the other stuff. So the thing is, your time, it's not refundable. It's not refundable. You use it, you don't get that back ever. So use it wisely. Clarity and confidence, that's going to reduce your stress. Discipline around this stuff, just a little bit more today than yesterday, that's going to create a pocket of time and freedom. I've got a big, deep podcast coming on freedom. More to come on that. But freedom, it's fantastic. That's the ultimate prize. And momentum on these things, little things. That's why these are quick hits. You do these things, okay, all right. Heck yeah. Builds confidence. And then you're more satisfied with yourself. You feel better. So hopefully these little things help. Hit me with yours, please. Because small steps done today makes you proud of yourself. Makes waking up tomorrow and hey, I'm a little more confident. Things are a little cleaner. You don't need a miracle now. Just some movement. You're capable of any of these things we just talked about. But start by proving it with the little things. Prove it to yourself, then that proves it to others. And people are going to think, wow, something's different. What's different? Every easy thing that you do, it's really an investment because it's incremental. A little better today and a little better tomorrow. Well, think about a week, a month, a year from now. And you stack it. You're voting for yourself here. You're stacking productivity. And you don't have to totally overhaul your life at all. No, just one thing at a time. And the power isn't out there. It's in that next thing you do. It's in the next thing. So I hope this helps. I appreciate you asking for these. A lot of them we deal in a lot in the philosophically as to why you should do things like this, but I'm glad we can just hit the punchline on some of these things. So more to come on the masterclass on making a good place better. The whole thing is you can be prepared, ready, equipped, everything's great. But if you let something get in your way, it's the personal side of that. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate everything you guys are doing for me. I'm going to do some stats coming up, maybe the next one, just on the overwhelming response I'm getting to these podcasts. It's great because the podcasts are from here. They're for me, and I just give them to you, and your response makes me feel so good. I appreciate it. Hit me up at david@otalks.com. The website, otalks.com, is getting a facelift. It still looks the same. Trust me, we're working in the background. Hopefully in the next 2 or 3 weeks, it's going to be updated. I know you're tired of hearing that, but it's true. So thanks so much. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging on. And thanks for O-Talking with Dave. Giddy up.